social media is hurting our mental health. With over 4 billion users, social media has readily become a massive platform for a variety of uses, such as advertising, entertainment, and communication. The power of social networking is such that the number of worldwide users is expected to reach some 3.43 billion monthly active social media users by 2023. Daily time consumption through social media is also high, being 145 minutes in 2021. With the ever-growing number of individuals on social media and the daily time spent on it, I question the mental health effects it has on its users. One issue heavily linked to the internet and social media is online bullying. Despite the potential damage of cyberbullying, it's alarmingly common among adolescents and teens. Over half of adolescents and teens have been bullied online, and about the same number have engaged in cyberbullying. More than 1 in 3 young people have experienced cyber threats online. Over 25% of adolescents and teens have been bullied repeatedly through their cell phones or the internet. To make matters more complicated, over half of young people do not tell their parents when cyberbullying occurs. The effects of online bullying is rather unfortunate. It can lead to anxiety, depression, and even suicide. Victims of bullying are 2 to 8 times more likely to consider committing suicide. Also, once things are circulated on the internet, they may never disappear, resurfacing at later times to renew the pain of cyberbullying. Apart from direct online bullying, social media was linked to experiencing negative mental health outcomes even with seemingly non-harmful usage. Studies showed less moment-to-moment happiness and less satisfaction in life. It also shows that any comparison made, regardless of whether it's looking up to or looking down on someone, resulted in the individuals feeling worse than before they started. There was also a connection made between envy and depression in Facebook use and depressive symptoms. Social media appears to be a breeding ground for negative feelings, regardless of how we feel prior to being on it. The analysis showed that people who reported usage of more than 7 platforms had 3 times more risk of having depression and anxiety compared to those who had a maximum of 2 platforms. In addition, we saw an increase in major depressive episodes from 8.7% in 2005 to 11.3% in 2014 among the younger population. It is not to say that internet is the sole reason, but research showed that it may be a major contributing factor, especially since social media has integrated itself as a major part of people's daily lives. This makes us question what we can do to stop the detrimental effects social media has on individuals. Anxiety is another mental health issue related to social media. Social media anxiety is actually this feeling of stress and distress that's caused by the usage of social media. Some causes of this anxiety include juggling multiple social media platforms at once, having a fear of missing out or FOMO, comparing oneself to others, needing attention, approval from others, and the overall addiction to using the platforms. A person's addiction to social assurance has shown to activate parts of the brain that are activated when using drugs that cause addiction. All of this create a great deal of stress, and the amount of time of electronic usage grows along with it. Social media anxiety is also closely related to the broader term, social anxiety disorder, which is a feeling of stress caused by social interactions or situations. People who exhibit symptoms of social anxiety disorder, like fear of being judged, avoiding social interactions, and having low self-esteem, may turn to social media use as an alternative to in-person social interaction. This usage can stem from these mental health issues that were talked about. An important role we can all partake, especially as nurses, is educating ourselves about signs of mental health distress, cyberbullying, and risk for suicide as a way to aid in this new epidemic in the youth population. We may not be able to stop cyberbullying or prevent this population from using the internet, but providing support to those experiencing the effects of social media and creating a safe environment for them to come to for help and guidance is a great way to prevent youth from advancing to something like suicide. They need to know that it is safe for them to report any signs of altered mental health and safe to report cyberbullies as well. Most importantly, awareness is the key to helping this population. With social media being a relatively new introduction into our society, the negative effects of its usage have become a new problem and evidently has become an epidemic. Its effects range widely from altered relationships to altered mental health status and risk for suicide. The number of users is growing every year, and being that 80% of those are teenagers, we will begin to see more of the youth population related to mental health disorders. Social media has become a new cause for disorders and suicide, and unless we become more educated on the matter and how we can aid the youth population, the problem will continue to spread. More research and investigation needs to be conducted on this growing prevalence of social media to truly understand the detrimental effects and discover ways to prevent and treat this. What we can do as nurses is provide youth and their families with information needed to make informed decisions about their health and notice any signs of social media effects in not only themselves but their peers as well.